I am Scott Logan, the CMO at AmplifAI, and we welcome you to the AI for CX Virtual Summit, where we bring you the latest insights and best practices around AI and the customer experience. A quick word from our sponsor, AmplifAI. At AmplifAI, we unify all your structured and unstructured data, voicemails, emails, voice calls to virtual agent, social, and all your internal systems to a single view of performance. With this one view of your data, AmplifAI delivers role-specific insights and AI-recommended next best actions to increase agent performance and coaching. Our comprehensive CX suite includes everything from auto QA to AI-powered coaching and gamification. Over 10,000 teams worldwide use AmplifAI to boost productivity, improve customer experiences, and drive better results in sales, support, collections, and many more. Before we get started, I'll go ahead and go over some of the details. We'll provide you a link to a landing page with a recording in the days following the webinar, a quick blog summary of the session itself. And for the session, we'll take all of your questions at the end. So please chat them in as you think of them, and then we'll get to them in the conclusion. In this specific session, it's an interview session titled Trusted Advisors versus RFPs, where Andrew Pryfogle, the ACX practice leader at Avant, interviews Vic. Now, this one had to be recorded earlier due to schedules, but we do have Vic here live to take questions at the end. So the host with the most, with all the answers, will still be answering your questions that come up. And who's Vic, you might say? Vic Pepe, managing partner at DM Enterprise Group. Vic is a seasoned technology executive, host of the podcast 10,000 Miles, which has what, 10,000 or 40,000 subscribers so far? Very impressive. He's also an author with over 2 decades of experience helping businesses make smarter, faster decisions. He's here with us today to share insights from his powerful new book, The RFP is Dead. Basically, in line with the session's title today, it's a thought-provoking take on why traditional procurement methods are holding companies back, and now trusted advisors are reshaping the future of tech sourcing. So get ready for a conversation that challenges the status quo and offers real-world strategies for driving innovation and results. With all of that intro, we'll pass things over to Vic.
Thank you, Scott. Welcome everybody today to this session. Super excited to be here discussing a topic that is near and dear to my heart. As Scott said, I spent 20 years as CIO, sitting in the C-suite, understanding how winning was done and lost. And it inspired me to write this book called The RFP is Dead, available on Amazon. And as I told Scott, I make 27 cents a copy. It's priced for people to read and get their hands of, not for me to make money. I just want it out there. With that, my good friend Andrew Pryfogle agreed to run a little interview session. We recorded and put it together, talks about the book, the whys, etc. I may be stopping it along the way to comment. I may not. We'll see how it goes. If you would, use the chat and the QA function as Scott themed, and stick around. It's about 20 minutes. We'll come back for some live Q&A. Thank you again, and I hope you enjoy what's coming up here. We had a good time doing it.
Please don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. All right, welcome everybody to the studios here, sitting with my good friend Vic Pepe of D&M Enterprises. Vic, it's always great to have you. It's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you as usual, Andrew. Thanks for the opportunity here today.
Indeed. Hey, I'm looking forward to this conversation. We got some big things to talk about here over the next few minutes. But first, a little plug, if I could, for you, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Well, just so happens I happen to have one here as well.
Here you go.
What do you know?
Here you go. I love the book. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It is no small thing to get your first book out there. And you picked a hot topic, Vic. This idea that the RFP is dead. You and I have had this conversation for a long time. We've been talking about it for a long time. I love that you put your heart down onto paper now and shared it with the masses. This idea that the way we've always procured technology is broken in so many ways in today's modern world. Before we dive in, give us a quick little background. Who the hell's Vic Pepe?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Andrew. And this will lead into why the book came about. There's a part of my history I've not historically gone back to, but I'm going for this episode. I started my career as a young adult in the music business. and had, as people may or may not have seen from LinkedIn, had an opportunity to work with guys like Alice Cooper, the Nelson guys from Ricky Nelson's Sons, myriad of 80s bands. I was a writer, producer, engineer, owned a recording studio. And then once Nirvana hit, the world turned upside down and I had to reinvent myself. I was building recording studios. I knew signal flow. How hard could it be to move audio versus zeros and ones on the digital wire? And I jumped headfirst into technology. I'll fast forward all that to getting myself in the channel through a series of hard work and a lot of luck. I had 5 CIO jobs in 20 years. I worked for some big companies, Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns. I was at Bear during the collapse, and we fell into the gracious arms of JP Morgan Chase, where I learned a lot. And I ran big enterprise stuff. And through all of that journey, I benefited yet suffered the consequences of being limited to what technologies I could use to solve problems. And my scope was rather narrow. I knew what I knew. I knew if you were a big logo and the procurement department had done a good job of bringing people in, that I had an enterprise suite of tools that could likely help solve for problems. Sometimes I was the short guy in the stack, so to speak. I was getting the short straw, and I wasn't a priority, but it was in the IBM stack. I didn't have to run down a 8 or 9 month procurement path, but that was the world I lived in. Yep. And I ran down that path. 8+ years ago, I jumped into the channel as a managing partner in the D&M Enterprise Group, along with Steve Gerhardt and Tim Reese. And as you would say, we've been doing good selling and good supporting for the last 8.5 years, but D&M has been around for 24 years. We celebrated our 24th anniversary on May 1st of this year. We're very fortunate to have a big client base, get to serve at a very high level and a very intimate level throughout our entire staff. So that's my background, and that's where I came from.
That's fantastic. I love it. It's amazing background because it gives you just tremendous credibility in talking to customers. You've been in their seat. You've gone through the exact kind of process of evaluating technology, oftentimes constrained by the requirements of the business, saying you have to follow a certain procurement process. Fundamentally, you and I have talked about this. We think that process is broken at its basic level because it simply doesn't keep pace with where innovation is going and how fast innovation is developing.
Yeah.
Talk about that for a second. What is it about the way we've always procured technology that doesn't quite fit in this world of AI and other emerging technologies?
You know, Andrew, you said something interesting, and thank you for saying that about my perspective in working in the big companies. So for those out there listening, I don't want to give off that I don't have an understanding or an appreciation for real enterprise control and change control and compliance and the amount of things that get touched with the smallest changes. When I was at JP Morgan Chase, we'd have to get on cross-impact meetings. So if I were making a change to something that could potentially change anything downstream, left, up, or down, there were 70, 80 people on these calls listening for what might come their way. If I made a change in a field on a website and I captured a fee or did something different, where did that field go? How did it get populated? How did the rest of the world? So what I'm about to say comes from a huge appreciation and understanding for the enterprise, for enterprise change control and management and things of the like. But I saw things much like you, maybe more from this side of the desk and you being on the other, trying to empower early on. I saw the bottleneck right away. And I saw a process that didn't give me the ability to impact the change that the business needed at the speed the market was moving. And this happened to me early on. I needed to get a product in, and you learn things. You learn how to hustle through the procurement department and who you're taking out to lunch and who you're buying a bottle of whiskey for and who it's all this circle of influence, right? But I needed to make sure my stuff just got looked at the top of the stack. The whiskey wasn't for do something you shouldn't do. It's, oh, I'm on the bottom of your stack and maybe this is on the top. By the next day, it was at the top of your stack. And then still a legitimate look. But I just knew, Andrew, that this process was stopping me from winning market. It was stopping the business from winning market share. It was putting a bit of a stick in the spokes of me gaining compliance, because I had all this urgency around me with deadlines and things getting done, but I was limited to the tools I could use. And then when I needed to use these tools, the overhead of procurement and compliance didn't match the speed of my business partners' expectations. Again, full appreciation for the work people do in procurement and compliance. A very necessary set of components in any organization, but this RFP process just doesn't lend for, hey, there's a shift in rates if I'm in the mortgage business and I got to originate like crazy right now and I need something new and I got to get it done.
Yep. Vic, you say that because it's you and I experienced that in real world in working with CIO of a very large company that saw the advantage of a solution that you were bringing to the table, did tons of work around identifying it, figuring out how it would build into the business, the groups that it would impact, had lots of people at the table, did the hard work to see, yes, this is the right solution for the business, and then was forced to go through their legacy procurement process that took 9 months. He said it at the beginning. Remember that? He says, this is going to take 9 months. I don't want it to. If I could do it tomorrow, I would, but it's going to take 9 months. It took 9 months almost to the day.
Yep.
But at 9 months, the market had changed.
Yep.
The market had completely changed. They missed their opportunity. That's how
They
fast
missed the big
these things-
opportunity.
Big opportunity. And that's how fast this stuff is moving now. It's like the brands out there that figure out how to be more agile, as you write about in the book, they are in a position, frankly, to have a significant competitive advantage over the brands that are stuck in the old way of doing this. Am I right?
You're absolutely right. And here's the force multiplier. It's called AI.
Yeah.
It's a part of the trusted advisor's job is to know what's going on out in the industry, what the products look like, what the capabilities look like. And we used to be able to look at tool sets and providers, technologies, and we have 400 providers in this beautiful ecosystem. We used to be able to look at them once or twice a year and know what's up.
Yep.
Can't do that anymore. The development cycles are much shorter. The AI implementations are coming at a rapid speed. The delivery time to market is actually decreasing. So the ability to really do the stuff you want to do is improving day in and day out. You'll have this process. And the companies that are able to get through this process and around it or beyond it or streamline it, or as you like to say, disrupt it, are going to be the ones that win. And I want to let the audience in on a dirty little secret. Andrew likes disruption. And what I'm going to say is certainly not disruptive, but it's the truth. There are a lot of companies that run an RFP just for process sake. People are in fear of choosing the wrong platform. They are in fear of making a mistake because the stakes mean a job, maybe a career. And so what happens is everybody falls in line, they create their spreadsheets, they demo these platforms, they send out the RFP, you get the beautiful response back. It's the prettiest thing you've ever seen, puts all their best feet forward. We can do everything, we do this, we do that. The responses are incredible. And then the demos come in and everybody scores,
Hey, Scott, you got a question you want to pause here for?
Yeah, I'm just going to open up a polling question for everyone in just a minute, and I'll put in there, how are you procuring your technology today? Are you using RFPs, technology advisors, both, or neither? And can it be grueling?
That sounds great. We'll continue here. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Andrew likes blue, so the screen was blue, so they get a 10. And Vic likes grays, whites, and blacks. And I don't like blues, so I only gave them a 7. All this personality comes into the scoring, and it's completely subjective.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not an equal weight. Most importantly, the provider who really the people who want a particular solution, they've already selected, Andrew.
Yeah.
This process is just a CYA.
Yeah. That's right.
I'm not saying this happens everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I lived it. I'm watching it. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And again, people are losing. People are really delaying their time to market, delaying opportunities, delaying making their customers' experience better.
That's right.
Or the employees' experience better.
At its worst, it's the CYA example you gave, right? But at its best, it's limited. It has a cap on it. It says, here's my current environment. Here's a checklist of requirements that I have. Can you meet those requirements?
Yeah.
It doesn't ask the question, what if my requirements are wrong?
That's right.
What if the way we've been doing this for the past 5 years is simply the wrong track entirely? Suppose for a moment there was a totally different way to look at this. Bring me that kind of creative idea.
Stifles it.
Right? It stifles that. And,
Stifles it.
And so with the best of intentions, the creativity gets squashed.
Yeah, it's limited because you have to believe in order for that to work, you have to have the most creative people with the broadest and widest perspective in the entire universe working in your company creating that RFP.
Yeah.
But the art of the possible completely gets flushed down the proverbial toilet when people are checking boxes and answering questions, because I'd much rather prefer, and this is where we're heading, this consultative approach where real experts come into play, people who know the business, people who can learn it really fast. And pull out of the experts in the business what it is that's really going to move the needle. Then bring those insights to companies that could help accelerate being different or doing something unique or taking 5 spot solutions and driving them down to a platform. There is this other thing, and maybe it's for another book.
Yeah.
There's also this thing where still buyers find comfort in not being the first on a platform in a particular industry. So if I bring a healthcare company an opportunity, most times people say, what other healthcare companies do they have? Yeah. Now, on one hand, that's great because maybe they've got some insights from doing healthcare before that are going to help them. On the other hand, what if there's something in manufacturing or retail that could be revolutionary in healthcare? You're going to miss that, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's interesting. Vic, there are people that will hear this, maybe see the cover, read the first few pages and say, this is just somebody trying to short circuit a process, taking the easy route, right? If you just skip the RFP, just trust me, sign my deal instead. And it's a faster way to get the deal done. And really, if you take a really hard look at this, you arguably might be complicating the sales process more than simplifying it, meaning there's a lot of hard work that goes into this. Am I right?
Boy, there's a ton.
Yeah.
And I deal with that. I looked up the actual page number, but I knew the chapter is called Passion Over Self-Interest.
Yeah.
And I addressed this straight on page 17 in the book. I really thought about, what does this mean for a trusted advisor to get somebody to buy into and believe that the RFP is dead? And I was sitting one night and I'm looking around and it was quiet. I don't think anybody was home. And I just went, holy shit, pardon my French. I just signed up for a lot more work. I've been doing this work. Then I said to myself, I'm putting my entire company on the line. We're not going to be insulated by this RFP where we're not the only one who voted. But then this thought evolved. And I said, in all this extra work I have to do, I need to know the players more intimately and better. 3 legs of the stool. Can the product achieve what it's supposed to do? And is there a life cycle for its survivability? Can the team implement and really know how to implement, execute on time and on budget and with precision? And then lastly, once I'm in production, can it be supported appropriately? Am I going to get the response times and the support I need? Yep. By the way, the RFP does a great job of looking at 1, 2, and 3. It's a skim. Yeah. You won't know that until you're in the belly of the beast. The trusted advisor has been in the belly of the beast numerous times with that provider. And if not me, the other 15,000 TAs out there, there is a phone a friend to find out how a particular provider did. So, Andrew, I said to myself, okay, TAs are going to have to sharpen up. Like the average TAs, they're going to walk around and hand this book to people and companies. What do they have to do? And we have developed a process inside of D&M that we now call the RFD, Request for Demonstration. So this takes all the work you would do in an RFP, but brings the consultative approach forward and says, let's think about what we want. Let's ideate on what the future could look like. Let's get all the stats, numbers of improvement that way they want. No matter where it is in the organization, we dive deep with the people. We give color, but we invite color. And then what we do is we take this RFD, and rather than just wait for a demo and have a generic demo come up, we go, here's what they want to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Here's the problem you need to solve. And with some reasonable level of effort, not building the whole thing out, might be very complicated integration. You need to be able to demonstrate that you can do this.
Right.
And you need to also bring ideas to the table. What are we missing? This is in the RFD for demonstration. So we have completely shifted. So now when I'm telling people, hey, get rid of the RFP, we're going to guide you through this RFD, request for demonstration. The document it's targeted, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's targeted, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But the first company I delivered this RFD to, they fell out of their chairs. They fell out of their chairs, and they were like, oh, my God, this is unbelievable. This is exactly what we need.
That's right.
And we've got this section, we're inviting creativity and input. And now, most importantly, when that demo shows up, it hits. Yeah. It hits hard.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't hit hard, you know you got the wrong product.
Yeah.
And the wrong team, or potentially the wrong partner in there. So to
Fantastic.
me, that's the finale of this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not less work, it's more work. The RFD for us is the solution because it bridges the gap between I got this very exhaustive process to just trust me.
Yeah.
We're going to work hard.
Right.
We're just going to do it like this.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to earn it. We're going to prove it to you.
You got it.
And it's going to be, the demonstration is going to be able to exhibit to you that this is purpose built for your business. And, and driving outcomes that perhaps weren't even on your radar. But could be transformative for the company.
And Andrew, all the usual stuff is in there, you know, how they handle compliance and resiliency. Those are table stakes. You've got to be able to support an organization at the level they need support.
I think the timing of this is really important. It's so relevant to business leaders right now who are struggling with how do I completely reinvent the way I view technology, the pace that I run at, how do I compete and win in a world where it's changing every single day. They have to change the lens they're looking through. They have to change the process that they follow. I love how this book exposes that kind of truth and challenges that type of thinking. Any last advice you'd give to readers of this on what they should do with this?
I'll tell you, if you're a trusted advisor or on the procurement side, I'd say read it and consider it. Consider the thought that business has accelerated, competition has accelerated, and this process really hasn't. Right. In some cases, it's longer than others, but in the lightest case, it's long, it's limited. And if you're going to step up and win, and you want to bring value to your organization, whether you're a seller, a buyer, or a provider, getting to be able to show value and demonstrate it quickly is paramount. And lastly, and we said this at one of your Lift events, if we're going to fail what?
Fail fast.
Fail fast.
Yeah.
Because we didn't spend a ton of money. We didn't go too far down the track. We know there's a whole other conversation around POVs and POCs. More and more of these providers are signing up for those things, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming quick.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Guys, there you have it. Vic Pepe, good friend, amazing guy in the channel, huge advocate for his customers, and now an amazing author of a book, The RFP is Dead. Pick it up on Amazon.com, hand it out to your colleagues and your peers. Read about how a totally different, refreshed look on procurement might completely transform your business. Vic, great job.
Thank you, buddy. Have an amazing evening.
All right. Thanks. Soon. You too, man. Good selling.
Bye. Please don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
I forgot how much fun we had doing that, Scott. I love talking to Andrew. I talk to Andrew on a very regular basis on a wide range of business topics. He's always great to talk to. He's got unique insights. So for Andrew, when you're listening to this, thank you for taking the time to do that with me on behalf of myself and the Amplify team. Really appreciate you stepping in and lending a hand there.
And thank you for bringing that to life. Let's go ahead and show the poll results. I'll end it here and we can take a peek. Seems like a lot of the audience uses a combination of these. The clear leader, I guess sometimes a solution is more of a point solution, but you still have to go through your formal RFP process. And for the 8% who don't use either, good luck. There are so many potholes you can fall into. One thing that came to mind here for me on this was a technology advisor being able to bring new ideas to the table, understanding your challenge, and then maybe challenging you on a different way to solve it. Because that's something that I find you almost never see when just buying a solution from a company in general. I find it hard enough to try and actually understand if I'm going to be able to solve the problem I want in the way that I think that I want and not be burned at the end of it, let alone bringing new to the table, except for just showing me a new feature and then asking me how I think I should use that solution. There is absolutely a little bit of a CYA, but then also that extra level of expertise that is involved when you are working with a technology advisor because they're like quote unquote on your side, correct?
Absolutely, 100%. You know, the interesting thing, and I just want to point this out, there are some consultative models where TAs may charge you. Tell you D&M upfront does not charge for its services, and there are a lot of occasions where we don't charge you the entire life cycle, because in the advisory and the channel space, we're ultimately compensated by the provider you select as an offset to their direct sales expense. So we're a free team, we're a free army. And we got 0 votes on the trusted advisory. If anybody's interested in having a conversation, send an email to vic@dmenterprise.net, davidmichaelenterprise.net. I'd love to get on the phone with you to 15 to 30 minutes and tell you more about how trusted advisors are leaning in. D&M has 700 customers, so 700 customers can't be wrong, as we say. But the conversation's free, and maybe I could give you some insights into how this process works. You could see us as the asset we are. I will tell you this, Scott, for those people who are our customers, we have less than 1% attrition over 24 years. So people stick with us. Why? We wear your jersey. We wear the jersey of the customer. We select great partners like Amplify and others in other spaces to find products that best represent the problem sets that they have. Free offer out there. Obviously, I love conversations, and I'd be willing to have one with anybody who's interested.
Yeah, and there's a question about the compensation side there. Are they really on our team? And I'll just take that from the solution provider perspective. We're typically paying the fee for the services as a standard fee across the industry to keep a level playing field, of course. And so what we find is we actually prefer to use technology advisors as well, because that means we're working with an expert who is placing us in front of a customer, and we basically know that, hey, this is actually a solution that's needed. It's the right fit, it's the right use cases, and we know we can get some results where you may get a sales rep or someone who's newer in selling your solution because they're new to the team and they may be just trying to make their quota, where a technology advisor is agnostic, and when they bring you into a deal to discuss the challenge with the customer, you have a really strong sense of, yes, this is absolutely a customer who's going to stick, grow with us, and we know that we're going to be able to address this and many other problems that they have. We're not trying to force fit something to hit a quota. So it's a protection on both sides. It's a win-win scenario in almost every case.
Scott, if I could add one thing, and you touched on it. Unlike a direct sales force, we have no quotas at D&M. But most importantly, number 2 is we don't sell anything per se. If I work for a particular provider, I walk in and say, you need to buy my toolbox and my toolkit. We walk in and say, what are your biggest business challenges? What are you trying to accomplish? Is it cost reduction? Is it efficiency? Is it new features and innovation? And we're only talking about your business. And then because the ecosystem from a trusted advisory is 400 providers, we bring the enterprise to your front door. And so we're having very agnostic conversations. And I made the comment earlier about wearing their jersey. That was a gift from a customer, believe it or not. President of a company, I was referred to him by somebody in the industry. He was a little skeptical over how the whole thing worked. And once we helped him lift this company off the ground, they're now over 2,000 people. He said to me, man, I would recommend you guys to anybody. He goes, I was skeptical at first. Like, who are you really working for here? He goes, but man, you wear our jersey. And I said, whoa, I got to use that. I said, now certainly sounds better coming from him than it does me, but we are the consummate client advocate. And our job is to bring the best solutions forward to solve the biggest problems and get the results you need.
Yeah, I'll just key in on one last thing that resonated with me as someone who buys a lot of marketing technology, understanding what's out there. I completely align with you used to be able to assess platforms once a year at the one conference you go to, and you know what's there and what it can do. But now there's so many companies that are coming out with these new niche capabilities that align to a specific problem that you have. But then there's a difference in not knowing, okay, here's all the new technologies. I now know about them, but which ones can actually scale with my business? Which ones are a really great Old West storefront where it looks like it's 3 stories, but it's really a room and a bar? And which ones actually do have the robust support that you're looking for post implementation. And that's another area where they'll very quickly be able to tell you which ones carry their weight, basically. Fantastic. With that, I think we've concluded. So please absolutely subscribe to the 10,000 Miles podcast. Go ahead and check out that book and reach out to Vic for any questions or needs you have on your projects coming forward.
Scott, thanks for having me today. I really enjoyed the time. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I'm very passionate about it. Like I said, having been in the seat for 20 years on the other side of this criteria, there's a better way. And if it's not me or D&M, find somebody who's going to work their tail off, making sure you get the right decision based upon expertise. So to the Amplify, good folks of Amplify, thank you very much. And thanks to all the participants for showing up today.
Yes, I echo that. Thank you for attending and registering, and we will see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.